Sorry for that technical issues. Am I audible, ma'am, now?
Yes, you're audible now, Kaushik.
Yes, yes.
Please
Thank
continue.
you. Thank you. Thank you. I once again welcome to all of you to today's webinar, and I request now Professor Sukra Agarwal ma'am for to start the webinar. Ma'am, please.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I congratulate ASBM University for its outstanding achievements and its overall development. I'm really impressed by the introduction which Dr. Kaushik gave of the university, that how it began in 2006, and very soon it has emerged as a reputable institute with diverse areas of education. I also greet my co-panelists, Dr. Millie and Dr. Mitra. It's a pleasure meeting them virtually on this platform. And I'm thankful to ASBM and Dr. Kaushik Bhuvan for giving me this opportunity to interact with everyone on this very interesting area of about English for employability. No doubt it is a very, very valid thing which has emerged, and English has held its importance ever since it was introduced in these colonized nations by the Britishers. And it is one language that connects people from different regions, cultures, and nations. So it's no more the British English, it is the English for all. So today, this webinar will give us the opportunity to discuss further on this issue. And do I continue with my presentation and talk? Kaushik? Or because we see that how globalization and this multinationalism has opened boundaries, and it has further strengthened the usage of English. And for a country as diverse as India, where there are so many different languages, English emerges as one language which connects people within our own country. So it has become a very dynamic language, and how it generates employability for the youth, we are going to discuss it in today's webinar. You see, institutions of higher education, the purpose of students getting enrolled and to get training there is basically for vocational purposes and for employment. And it opens vistas for them to get opportunities to make their careers. And in establishing their careers as young brigade, what role does English play? This webinar, I'm sure, would go a long way for us to deliberate and discuss as to how to use English as the medium, as a skill, as a language, and take it further so that it generates greater avenues for the students, for the youth of our country to get employability. Am I audible? And can I go ahead with sharing my PPT?
Yes, madam. Yes, madam. You are audible.
Sure. So we'll do that, and yeah. So I'll begin with this, and for today's webinar, we are going to familiarize the participants about the features of English, how English works globally and locally, and how the various employment opportunities are generated through English. So these would be some of the outcomes, some of the features which I will focus on, and then my co-panelists would also go ahead with their views, and we'll develop it as a kind of an interaction, and would be very happy at the end to take question answers and to discuss. So some of the features of English are that it has emerged as an international language. It is, as I said, one language which not only connects people in our own country, but if we want to reach out in this global world where we have opened boundaries for all MNCs, the multinational companies, the corporates working, where student exchange is happening at a very high rate, English becomes the language by which we are able to connect internationally in all arenas of work and education. It also works as a sponge language. Now, what do I mean by it working as a sponge language? Because you see, if we talk in our Indian terms, there is this term, the Indianization of English. So English is one language which gradually has absorbed the other languages, and every nation, every country has developed it as a kind of a regional language which serves the purpose of connecting with the world. Also, English has a simple grammar. We begin teaching it at a very primary level to the students. It has a rich vocabulary. English is also open to accepting words from different other languages. We always feel very happy when the Indian words like curry, dal, roti, things like which are very, very Indian, are easily accepted and absorbed in the vocabulary, and we find them there printed in the new dictionaries of English, in the Oxford Dictionary. So it also works like an economic language. The Britishers came and established their colonies for economic purposes, and now it has, over the years, English becomes the language where the world is making economic transactions, and it thus serves like a link language, not only within the country but among the nations globally. We see and we encounter that tourism also, when we look into its history and its development, we'll find that English is the language which develops that area, and it emerges as the link language. English emerges as a dynamic language which over the years has expanded, has percolated in all the nations of the world, and comes out as a language not of any particular nation, but as a language of communication amongst the nations. And that makes it a special and language which needs to be acquired by everyone. But it also has certain loopholes. People always complain, and we find there are jokes around. You also must have encountered several such jokes, that how there is no mediation between signs and sounds many a times in English. There are differences in accent, in intonation. There are so many dialects. But I think that this is not a thing to complain. It is rather making it more flexible, because you see, we have English which is spoken in Europe with a different accent. English in India has a different intonation and accent. English, American English, we all know, has a different sound, different intonations. So this flexibility of this language, which has worked like a sponge language, branching itself into all varieties of dialects, intonations, and accents, has grown over these years and has spread over the world. But there is also a kind of an inborn phobia, which I would take this opportunity to convey to my young participants, that this should never be there in our mind. English doesn't make anyone elite, or there is no status or symbol if you know English better than others. It is a language which becomes a source of communication. And so we have to acquire it. We have to learn it just as we learn other languages. No doubt, learning a second language is definitely difficult than acquiring the mother tongue. Our language one always interferes whenever we learn a second language. But that should not make us feel shy or hesitant, or make us feel in any way complexed that we do not know English. Knowing English doesn't make us stand apart, neither not knowing English makes us in any way weaker. Our new education policy very well talks about acquiring 3 languages. So we need to be multilingual. It works like a skill, it works like a power. The more languages we know, the better it is. And English, since it is used by 500 million people, since it is known all over the world, it is accepted globally. If we are weak in it, if we do not know how to speak, we can at any point of time gradually get into learning this language. So this language, which has emerged as a national and official language in more than 50 countries, has become an international language, becomes now, a necessity to know, to learn. And we really need to acquire it, because we in India had the British rule for several centuries, in fact. When the Britishers came to our country as traders, the East India Company, we as students of the Indian history, of Indian politics, and as citizens of this nation, we are all familiar with this. And then Macaulay's minutes, we know about it, that how English was introduced as a medium of education because the Britishers wanted clerks for their work. They wanted that Indians can be employed to do their works in the courts, in the administration, in the schools. So it is a very interesting history of how English came to spread in our country. So this is, I've titled it English Locally. But over the years, after the post-independence era, and how we gradually became as an independent nation, we gained our own identity. And in 1963, it was given the status of an official language by the Language Act. So it has grown with us over these years. Ever since the Britishers colonized India, English has stayed in our country. And they, in a way, the Britishers, they ruled most part of the world. And for quite some time, they sowed the seed of the English language. And in this way, it is, if we take it positively, they gave a kind of a common language to the world. And over these years, English has become as a language for trade, for science, for education, for employment, and has brought the world, united the world, and brought the world closer and united the world. So it also has developed as a content language, and it has given an opportunity for our writers, for our creative people to work with this language. We have in our country writers who have written in English since long back. So employment opportunities, if we talk about them, there are several which have opened through English, not only in the field of education, but English also gives opportunity to the youth to go into the areas of translation and interpreting, to work as creative and critical writers, to try their hands in copy editing, in journalism, in giving commentary, in creating blogs, in developing content writing, in being able to anchor. And there is a whole language industry which has developed. And English is also used internationally as a language for reviewing the works, both critical, creative, and philosophical works. So there are, if we look around, I think nothing remains untouched by this language. We have absorbed it so much that we even are unable to demarcate between usage of Hindi and English language words are in our own regional languages. Any regional language also, if you pick up, whether be it Oriya or Rajasthani or the languages of the South, over the years, words like station, like platform, like and many more, train, cycle, there is no substitute. And there may be substitutes in the original language, but for the people, the community which speaks language, for it has over the years, it has so much got ingrained in our spoken skills that we have accepted words of English as our own. And that is why I am of the opinion that it is no more the English of the Britishers. It is a language which is strong and which is used for several purposes within the country. And we have, in fact, learned it as our own language, which has become very, very essential. We use it in the field of education, right from KG to PG. Teachers, professors, they use it for dissemination of knowledge. And since it has become important globally to know this language for communication, we have incorporated it as a compulsory subject in the schools across the country. And also, if you want to know about the knowledge system, about the progress of things as it is happening, whether it is in the field of science or philosophy or humanities or culture or arts, English becomes a medium by which you can acquire, by which you can disseminate. So whether you want your knowledge system to be open for the world, or whether you want to acquire anything which is written outside our own languages, English becomes the medium. We know that how so many French, German, and many more texts are regional language texts, like works written in the regional languages. They are translated into English so as to give them a greater readership. And it is the duty of those who know this language to go into this field of translation, because this gives an opportunity for everyone to know that work. If you want a writer, like a writer writing in the Northeast, or a writer writing in our South, or in any part of the country, if you want to bring the writer's views, which are so powerful and valid, to the mainstream, and you want the world to know it, one needs to look for translations. And English, which has become the official language along with Hindi, is gives us the opportunity to disseminate our own knowledge to the world through translation. Here is a picture of so many creative writers. You see, our writers, they have won Nobel Prizes, they have created a big foray of literature, the Pulitzer Award winners, the Padma Shri Award winners, and who are well read, whether it's Rushdie or there are so many, Girish Karnad or anyone you name, they are writing in English and they are recognized all over the world. And especially from the 19th century onwards, you see that writing in English by Indian writers is an acknowledged foray which has given a great platform to our creative writers. And Indians are the best creators who have also Indianized English. I think in the beginning talked about Indianization of English. If you R.K. Narayan, he's the biggest example of that. Girish Karnad, Shobha Day, and they, each one of them in their own way has made English richer and also has given an accessibility to the Indian cultural thought by writing about it in English, preserving the regional words in their languages, which is English, they italicize it. And I'm sure each one of us has read their works, and some of the works at least, and have appreciated the way these cultural ideas are conveyed by the Indian writers who are writing in English. So English has, over these years and over these centuries, emerged as a very strong medium of expression. Even critical writing, whether you talk about Bhabha or Gayatri Chakravarti Spivak or Shashi Deshpande, there's an error in Shashi Deshpande's, or Iyengar, and many more. They just 4 which are mentioned here, but many more. We have critical thinkers who are talking about Indianization, not only in the terms of language, but also in the terms of ideas. The Indian knowledge system, which now is being spread or talked about and working as a very transformative kind of a message which is being spread all over the world, whether it is through our yoga or through our Ayurveda or through our philosophy or about the Dalit thought or about Orientalism. I think every idea which is being floated through English becomes the spokes media by which we are reaching out to the world, and we are being recognized by the world, and herein the very English which came to us as the language from the imperialistic powers is becoming the instrument now which is helping us to let the world know about our own knowledge, and we are being recognized all over the world for our old knowledge system. Even in the field of journalism, right from the 19th century, if you talk about the Bombay Times or the Journal of Commerce or the Hindu, which since 1878 is publishing, and even today it has these papers, the Indian papers, they have established themselves as the expression of a democratic India. Indian Express and Free Press Journal or the Telegraph, they are these papers, they speak about the common masses, and they work as also bridging the boundaries between our own nation. If you want to really know about what is happening not only in India but in the world, then these English newspapers, they really help and go a long way for us to develop healthy journalism. They are giving opportunities to so many youth to get appointment in these journalism in the area, which is now coming out not only in the print media but also in the electronic media. It's playing a very important role in the electronic media also, and it gives so many opportunities for employment. So journalism has come out as a big area in which English language, if you know it, if you are able to write in it, if you are able to express in it, it gives you a good source of employability. Also the content writing. I just now talked about the well-known seminal writers, but there is nowadays content writing which is developing as several freelancers. They are coming up, and there are websites, there are bloggings, there are ebooks. It's through in social media, and it's emerging as business writing, even advertisement. So if one has to reach out, if English becomes one language which can immediately give you an opportunity to get employability, to be able to work in an area which not only gives you recognition, but brings you a good pay package and gives you the opportunity to get employment. I think every day we see in the some advertisements, even if we pick up our phones or on the websites or in the social media, that stay even from home, if you know English, you can earn this much of money. So that way it has this language which is known globally, has emerged as a very strong medium for employment, for earning. We have had Indian commentators, and here is the name of some of them: Anant Setulwal or JP Narayan or Harsha Bogle, Ravi Shastri, Anjum Chopra. But these are not the only one. There are so many whom I have not included. But commentary also has become as a source of employment, a source of recognition. So if you are good in this language, which now works like a skill, just as you have to acquire skill to become employable, similarly, you have to learn this language to be able to get employability. So that way it helps us to reach out to the world. Now blogging is becoming so common these days. There are online journals, there are information websites. You want to get some information, you immediately open your Google account and things. Those things can be translated also, but English is the basic accepted language which emerges as a language which is easily accessible, which can easily be read, which can easily serve the purpose of communication. And if you want to gather information or transfer information about anything which is there in this on this globe, on this earth, maybe related to food or travel or music or fitness or news or music, sports or business, think about it, and English would help you to reach out and to communicate. So anchoring also, just as we saw that how English works as for commentary, it also, we have anchors, the Indian anchors, who are recognized for their skills, for their abilities, be it Karan Thapar or Simi Grewal or Pranay Roy or Rajdeep Sardesai or Siddharth Basu, and many more, the youngsters who are emerging, who are holding shows, who are presenting before us their skills, and they earn a lot of money and fame, and if they have acquired this language which makes them enter into this world of opportunities. So I would say that this is one skill which we all need to acquire, because it opens a large vista of opportunities for us. Even copy editing, you see the world of whether it is even the print media, or even if you are writing for on social media, this copy editing is being used everywhere. So for proofreading, for line editing, for fact checking, rewriting, content editing, for all these purposes, acquisition of English language becomes necessary. And these are the various areas in which job opportunities lie. So I would suggest to my young scholars, to the youth who are enrolled in different courses in different disciplines of the university, that acquisition of English becomes necessary, at least at this higher education level, when you are thinking of moving out into the world with your expertise, whether it is in science or law or humanities or computer science or any branch of engineering or management. English cannot be ignored. So it gives a kind of a finesse to your personality, because it's not that that you are not knowledgeable enough. You are, but this addition to your personality of knowing one more language, which is beyond your own language, if you learn this expression and communication in this language, you acquire the skill of writing well in English, then definitely you have an edge over others. Because as I said earlier, it becomes the language for dissemination, for spreading your ideas, your own knowledge. How would the world know it? How would you communicate? How would you, if you are working for corporates, how would you send your messages, do your writing, and say, in fact, how would you manage your work if you do not know this language, which works at the international level and which breaks all boundaries and gives you a kind of a visa to get into different areas of work, employability, and entrepreneurship. So this is about reviewing, which is about in films and dramas. I think I need to wind up.
Yes.
I will. All right. So in various areas it goes on, and it has come to work like a kind of a language industry. And I think I've already talked about all these areas. So I'll move further, and I would end and just say that it's a kind of a language in which we need to not only to learn, but strategically also be able to express ourselves with fluency. And with this, I will, I think, end here. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. Really very sorry for that technical disturbances.
No,
Am I audible now?
Yeah, you are.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for such an engaging and insightful deliberations. It all covered all the aspects of English as a global language, and our students, our participants must be enriched by your talk, erudite. Thank you so much, ma'am. Now, without any delay, we move forward. Let me. Moving on to our second speaker, we are very much thankful to Dr. Lakshmi Meli for accepting the invitation. She is an assistant professor and soon to be promoted as associate professor officially in the Department of English, Pondicherry Central University. She holds a doctorate degree in Indian writing in English from Northeastern Hill University, Nehu, Shillong. She has presented a number of papers and conferences in seminars and conferences in South Asian countries. She has published a good number of articles in journals and chapters in edited books. And she has taught papers such as communicative English, English as a second language, English for science and technology, functional written communication, media studies and writing in English at Pondicherry University. Her famous book, English Literature in the Digital Era, is a bestseller and readily available in market. She is also the chairperson for the Legal Service Clinic for students of Northeastern Region Office at Pondicherry University. And I must say she is a very nature lover and loves gardening and plantation. I welcome you, ma'am, for your deliberation. Is visible now, ma'am?
Okay. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Kaushik, for the warm introduction. I think you have spoken more than what I am. Actually, basically, I am a learner, always learning. And I thank the organizers and thank the president of ASBM University and also the panel members. Thank you for your presence. Especially Professor Supriya, you have, I think, covered up most of the elements that is supposed to be there for English, for employability, and also in the importance of English. So with this note, some of the points that I may speak about, it may overlap. But when Kaushik told me about, by the way, Kaushik is one of our alumni of Pondicherry University, and I'm so proud that he is professor, assistant professor there in this university and contributing his knowledge there. And I'm happy that he is there for the students, and he will be very useful to the management there. And I'm so happy that he has given me this opportunity, and the university, I thank them for their invitation. Now, when he told me about, there is a webinar coming up on English for employability, I was thinking about what should I speak about, because this is a language that we use as a official language in India, and it is the language of bread and butter for us. And also, I was not sure it was a university, and so and I was given that impression that it was a college. Then later he informed me that it is a university, and when I try to size up the type of learning and teaching which goes on there, and I realized that it is a management institution, and it is it is so different from literature, classrooms, or literature and language that we learn in English departments in normal universities. So what I thought was that there will be students from undergraduates and also the graduates. That's why I thought that I will blend my talk. When I said blended approach, I'm not talking about a particular approach, but I am blending something of thing like career guidance, and also about why English is so important in terms of many business transactions, and why English as a global language is so important in many of the management sectors. So whether it is the industry, whether it is the film industry, whether it is the other industries of various subdivisions of industries, English is so much a sought after language. Why it is? That is the reason why I thought I will speak on three sections. That is, one is career guidance, and one is on skills, and also on the employability side of English, why English is needed for employability. Now, can you, Kaushik, can you put on the second slide?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. This is a picture where I thought the graduates and the undergraduate will be at some point in the junction of their life. They will think which part they are taking to. What is your career plan? Now, you may be doing an MBA, you may be a graduate in engineering, but then in what way you are going to enhance your skill, or in which part you are going to take up, which will make you both mentally and professionally satisfied. So this is where I wanted to discuss and learn from you too. So this is where we have various branches of studies. Like, many of us are confused when we take up a particular discipline, or in a particular school, or we enroll ourselves into Like I had a problem between fighting with my parents who wanted me to take up science, and so many things about Shakespeare's sonnet and Wordsworth's daffodil. Many of the things which I love about literature was playing out in my mind. So when I was going for my admission in Cotton College, I was with my brother who is from engineering discipline, and he told me which branch you want to, which art stream you want to get admission. I said, I think my marks is just enough for English, that is arts. So please put me in that and forget about what my father and mother told at home. So he just allowed me to take up that art stream, which enabled me to take up English literature. So this is where I feel that one should be clear about which kind of career you are going to take up. That is, planning is necessary. It's a deliberate process of knowing who you are, and so that you can be sure of where you go and where you want to go, which discipline you want to take up, and what you want to be at some defined point in your life in future. Kaushik, yeah, there are 5 steps that is career planning, which are quite basic that one should know. First one is self-assessment. Many of us fail to make an assessment about oneself, about one's skill, knowledge, and confidence. So if one is aware of that, things can be more easy to easy for us which way to go. Second step is to explore options. I think we should not be limited to only 1 or 2 options. We should keep ourselves to many options, at least 3 to 5 options, so that we can have a better understanding of or narrow down to ones that we could love to go for. The third one is narrow the list of study options. Now, when you prepare for your future careers, I think it is good to narrow down, because you have to prepare yourself for employability, where you have to make a special study or give importance to certain areas. It may be advertising, it may be literature, it may be in the industry, or it may be in the film world. So we have to narrow down to at least 2 to at least to 5 options where we can choose the best. Now the fourth step is to decide or choose the best option. Best option comes when you narrow down and make a serious study about those areas, and you realize that there will be one area that will be best for you. And the fifth step is that you should set a career goal. What are your liking? What will be your benefit, and how you can be satisfied in a particular job. Kaushik, yeah. In the self-assessment, as I have already, this is only a picturization of illustration of what I try to say about self-assessment. Like this is an example from the traffic signal, where the green shows that how much percentage of yourself think that you can do it, and the yellow thing that maybe you can get there, or it all depends on what are your confidence level, or what are your skill level, and how you know yourself better. And if it is in the red signal, you have to think that you may need some kind of help, or you are not good at it, or even if suppose you love that particular area or the field of profession and you are not good at it, self-assessment will help you how to get help. Next, Kaushik, yeah. In all this, I think our attitude plays a big role. How we take up, how we want to take up in any profession, whether it is the interest, whether it is your personality, which comes to big, big help, or it plays a big role when you are in, especially in management jobs. especially if you are in industry, especially if you are in corporate world. So it all depends on your needs. It all depends on the values or ethics that you are aligned to, or and also the skills that you have. Skills can be acquired, but then your abilities also can come to a kind of big display in interpersonal relationship and team building programs. Now, explorations in terms of career, it is always good to have several career options. So if you are in a kind of a junction where you are confused, you always have to find a way out to get clarified, and self-assessment also helps with that. Next, Kaushik. Now, when you narrow down the list, as I have already told you, there is this qualities or the abilities or the natural qualities that is already there in you comes to the fore. The values and skills, they should be aligned, or skills can be acquired, I have already told you, but it can be in one hand, but the opportunities that get can also play a big role. So there may be limitation, or then there may be confrontation between your ability, your skill, and also the opportunities that you get. So it is very good to list down your plan. Now, plan for your career. There are a lot of options. I have already told you all options are equally good if you love any of those careers, whether it is lawyer, engineer, medicine, pharmacist, or whatever job you like to have, or you like to be. It all depends on your how you take it, or how you want to fulfill your desire and abilities, or utilize your skill in any of this plan. So once you choose career, there are factors which goes into choosing a career. As I said, when you say your interest, whether in a management, it can be hotel management or hospitality management, tourism, and many other sectors, entertainment, your creativity and your social contact and your other abilities would come into play. Then when values and motivation also play a big role when you think of the pay or the salary or the money that you get, and how it helps others, or how it helps you in you as a person, and also how it helps your family members. These are all extended kind of reasons goes into selecting a particular career. Now, place also, the location or the place also, play a big role in deciding why you want to go for that particular, career, and what is your benefit in being a particular location. Now, why people go to America? Because there are so many Indians who love to go to America. More than the Americans having American dreams, our Indians having American dreams. So in this context, why that place is so important, why that country is so important for certain disciplines or professions. So these are some of the place of importance. Okay, next is our career choice would be based on our qualification. There comes the situation where we might be limited with what we want and what we can do about it. Now, so all this, how to choose the right right career, you have to decide yourself. Next, Kaushik, can you go to the next slide? Yeah, how to build preparation. I think this is very important. I prepared this for the undergraduates actually. Everyone knows how to prepare a resume, but then to build your resume in such an well prepared resume is always very good to have, and it always play to your advantage. where you also have to have contact information. You have to state your objectives very clear, and list of education qualification in order, use of the language, the English language here. All these are very important because in Pondicherry University we have functional English for to give an example, functional English for science students, science and other discipline students, science, math, statistics. Yes, all this students who come at higher secondary level, as an entry level to do their MSc, 5 years degree in science branch. What happens is that many of them don't know how to present their even the assignments and seminars. They fail in speaking properly or putting their write up properly. So we end up teaching this batches of students from science in the beginning stage about resume writing and all the technical aspect of English, where they will learn the serious research and other subject which they take up as major subject of study in the university. So whether it is physics students or from the chemistry students, when they come at the entry level, it is very difficult for them to read the science textbook because they are not very confident in the English language. So this become a necessary at that stage. Kaushik, can you go to the next? So we have to look for explore the occupational outlook. You can also read books and journals related to your subject interest. Create network. Now, creating network is not a difficult job because everything is before your computer, especially the social network, and all kind of informations are there for us. We only need to choose them. In fact, there is an explosion of information on every field. Now, better that when you are in the undergraduate or in the graduate, before you graduate from your university, it is good that you see a career counselor also in your university. We have in our university where students they get counseling, and also there is campus recruitment in our university. Many things have been updated in our university, upgraded. And so students every year they clear their what you call qualifications in terms of competitive exams. From my English department, more than 26 students have cleared their NET, JRF and GATE even this semester. So this is from literature, but even from science. So all this, counseling and career counseling in the institution helps a lot in providing guidance to the students to take up which stream to go for, and also how they should hone their skill in making themselves employable. In the next, yeah. Now, employability qualities. I think we are all interested in talking about, or we are all talking about English as a language for employability, and Professor Supriya has covered up all that very beautifully. One I'm just going to narrow down is that employability skill has many sides of it, and so it is like it's defined as the transferable skill needed by an individual to make them employable. Along with good technical understanding and subject knowledge, employees often outline a set of skills that they want from an employee. So I was like, when I was interviewed for at the entrance level in this university, The reason in the advertisement, what was given in the advertisement was that they need a candidate who has a degree in communicative English. Luckily or unluckily, just like I have chosen English as my major subject in my admission time in the entry level. Here also in the university, that was the entry level. And I had this PGDT diploma from FLU. And so this is how I could apply for it. I'm telling my own life story because there are opportunities and chances we just, look for, and the qualification plays a lot in that. There is nothing like I was an expert or something. But there is this, display in the advertisement that they need a student or a candidate or a research scholar who has this degree in, communicative English. And ELT was one of those area that I was, I was studying at that time. I just had my exam given, and the result had come before the interview. And you know what? When I entered the interview, none of the questions from this area was asked. Then I realized, what is this? But they asked me question from like, are you good in American English? I said, sir, I don't know. But then I had a paper in American English. And how about theories? I was thinking theories. Not that theories are not wanted. Theories are so important in critical thinking, and just ma'am has mentioned about Gayatri Spivak and so many others, Homi Baba and all that. But they were not my cup of tea, in the sense I was not interested. But I had to say yes, American English. I just had that option of telling that. And he said, which American author? I said, I think I said Wordsworth was my, I was just thinking that Wordsworth will be the right answer. But, because he was famous, but somebody else came to my mind, Frost. And I had to answer all the difficult, unexpected questions when my application for the job was something different and my answer was something different. And, I was caught up. But then best I could do was, I said, I love, Frost, because his poems always played a big philosophical role in my, my understanding of life. So that's it. And the next, when we think of, looking for, employability skill, it also involves motivation and initiative. So leadership qualities are reliability and dependability, good communication, following instruction, teamwork, patience, and adaptability. I'm talking this, point from any kind of profession, especially in the industry, especially in the management. This is very important, I feel. So these are some of the common skills that you are supposed to be aware of. Now, categories of employability you can divide into basic academic skill, high order thinking, and personal quality. So even all these qualities you need even at the entry level. Now, can you go to the next slide? Now, why this importance on all these skills? Because academic skill consists of the way you write, the way you read and listen and speaking. All this, 4 skills will come to operate properly only if you are proficient at it. And also your degree qualification on that will play a big role in people selecting you or employing you. And higher order thinking involves critical thinking, creative thinking, logical problem solving, and innovative planning and decision making. I'm talking all this from a corporate point of view, where companies and many industrial sector, they look for candidates who are good at it. Now, even in advertisement world, I think creative thinking play a big role. Now, on his personal qualities, I have already talked to you about it is your sense of integrity and how you're reliable for the company. Now, why English for employability? I think Professor Supriya has already covered up that. Whether it is for the communication, international politics, education, science and technology, advertisement, business, and invention and innovation. I am giving importance to invention and innovations, especially at this time, because look at the coronavirus, how it has taken toll of the entire world, and people are desperately looking for some kind of finding vaccine for the virus. Science and technology, the best of knowledge or understanding, all these textbooks are available only in English. So rest of politics can play a vital role, but then the knowledge and wisdom that we can get, it is available only in English, even in science and technology. Now the job market. In today's job market is so demanding that without proficiency in English, employability becomes a big hurdle on the way. Now, candidates are expected to be proficient in their communicative English when it comes to present their ideas and creativity. There are histories in our own Indian context where there are states who did not, encourage English learning, and they realized when industrial revolution in India took it to a kind of height, and where this many candidates failed in the interviews because of their lacking in English communication. It's not because of failure in knowledge. It's all because of the failure in handling the language, the communicative aspect of it. That is why it was the failure. So communicative skill in English has become an important requirement for employability. Kaushik, can you go to the next slide? Next is that in teaching, suppose literature, we need description, narration, speaking, listening, reading, and writing. All these has different subdivisions where we need to be proficient. And ma'am has already mentioned about writers and creative writers of Indian, from India, and so those are people who are good with their use of language. In fact, they had driven out the English because of their also the English language which they proficiently, or you say they have learned going to England. Look at Raja Ram Mohan Roy. I'm sure if he did not know English properly, he could not have fought several social battles that he put up before the Britishers, and all this knowledge of English language has literature has come to play in terms of even in translation. So in his time. So next is in BPO, skills, explanation, and information is so much needed. Not so many years ago, I think 5 years, even now, I think BPOs work in call centers are so important that without English it is difficult for the companies to run the show. Now, in the field of journalism, management, and research, English is a language that is most preferred as important also in translation. Next, look at this marketing section. I just put up this old advertisement pictures. Look at this food. I mean, what kind of food is that? I think Dr. Kaushik will know it better. Yes? Is it McDonald's? Yes. It's a burger, right? And see the kind of language that is used. Hungry? Question mark. Don't get up. You get everything at your, it is a delivery, is so fast. It is the delivery system is the importance here. Now, Swiggy and so many other, Zomato, all these are in operation now. And the way they put up their advertisement, everyone will be now many in the university also. By the time it is 12 o'clock, Swiggy, personals are all standing near the gate for permission to get inside. And where do they get all this? All in the internet informations, as ma'am has already told. Now, another picture is this Coca-Cola. This is an print advertisement where very old one, where it talks about family refreshment. But there are advertisement of this same drink in different format in different times. Think of Aishwarya Rai, advertising the Coca-Cola drink. There is one where she becomes Sanjana and Amir Khan comes into the room. And there is another way she drinks the Coca-Cola in the terrace and she dances. So it all either to attract the attention of the customers in the advertisement, it is all targeted at certain audience at certain level. So these are all available in English language. It may not be so popular in your own language for a bigger audience. Kaushik, can you go to the next slide? Now, who don't like this kind of shoes? Nike. And so I have displayed only one brand, but then look at the language that is used, anti-gravity machines. And explore the Nike tradition. What is Nike tradition or the Nike tradition? The pronunciation may differ, but then look at this picture. Who is this? Anyone who can guess? Michael Jordan. Yes, he was a footballer, famous footballer. And when he does the advertisement with this picture, of course,
Michael Jordan was a basketballer.
Basketball player. And see, he was one of those famous players. And when he sits with this same, shoe and advertisement, things goes, it becomes so popular along with the language, anti-gravity machine. There are lots like that. So English language gives you the opportunity to explore those creative side of every, person. Okay, next, English in India, I'm not going in detail, but it is, I just want to inform that every one of us are aware that it is the third largest speakers of English after US and UK. And as ma'am has already told, there is nothing wrong with Indian English. It is accepted all over the globe. And it is better for mobility reasons or for better job opportunities abroad. English is necessary. So our modern work culture is that without English, you cannot do anything. About 90% of websites are written and available in English, to sum up. And more than 36% of internet users communicate in English, not in local language. Now, most of the social media platforms are in English. I have never seen anything in, from Northeastern region, we don't have, especially the tribal, communities, we don't have a written script. So most of us, we use only English language. And the language that is used in, WTO, IMF, World Bank, ISO, everywhere it is in English. Okay, can you go to the next slide? Yeah, skill-based jobs are also in demand world today, as I said already. Therefore, what we need in our education system, whether it is a management, university, or whether it is a university of, where different branches of studies are there, I think we need to upgrade the learning of English, especially for employability. Next, Kaushik. Yeah. So engineering, this is an information I have taken from one article where 25% of engineering students does not have English comprehension skill. This is from Aspiring Mind Computer Aptitude Test. where also it is found that 42 to 45 are capable of English required for knowledge-based industry, but only 27% of them show capabilities in business English. So if India is racing towards highly industrialized or with IT industries, I think it is necessary that we upgrade our proficiency in English. In all this, lacking in communicative skill in English has been the main reason for the setback for engineers, engineering students, and management students. Kaushik, can you go to the next?
Ma'am, you need to wind it up.
Yeah. Can you go to the picture only, Kaushik? So communication is manifold. It is expression of all the kind of senses. Okay. Next slide, Kaushik. Go to the next. Conclude. Yeah. This is a process. Yes. Yeah. This is the verbal communication, non-verbal communication, and also the paraverbal communication I'm talking about. The next slide, Kaushik. Yeah. Okay, you can go ahead to the next slide. Next slide. Yeah. Yeah, business English, come to business English. Yeah. Here I wanted to little stress that it's a type of English used in business context such as international trade, commerce, finance, insurance, banking, and many office settings. So business English is one of those English I think you need in even in management studies. Next, Kaushik, can you go to the next slide? I have to hurry up, right? So I'm going to wind up in another slide. So clarity in writing is very important in business English. It is not the literature English that we use. So it should be short, and the correct terminology should be used in business English. It should be direct. There should be no proverbs and cliches, and there should be the idiom and phrasal verbs, long verbs, all should be avoided. It should be simple yet effective with proper grammar and pronunciation. The concluding slide, Kaushik. No, the exercise. Go little up, 39, slide number 39. Yeah. These are some example of business English where instead of simple words like God, you say receive, need, you say required, talk about, you say discuss. Many a time we use just our casual English for everything. This is not where, this is where English for special purpose happens. So for management or for business purpose, we have to learn ourselves or train ourselves to use this particular English or terminologies, vocabularies needed for the business purpose. Okay. So concluding slide. Whatever job you are, concluding slide, not the thank you, before that picture. Yeah, I wind up with this. Whatever job we do, I think there is always a reason to be, we have to carry a very positive attitude towards the job we do. There should be a sharing sense, because this is the philosophical side where we live on to attach to values of human relationship. And when we share our success and failure with our colleagues and pull them up even if they're a little behind, that makes any job very enjoyable. With this, I end my talk. Thank you for the given opportunity. This is Pondicherry University campus. So those who are going to come to Pondicherry University, all are welcome. Thank you so much, Kaushik.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for such an engaging and actively you just covered up all the aspects of English as a career pathing tool, and also touched upon ESP, business English, many things together. We have another speaker waiting for us, and let me just share with that. The last speaker of the session is Dr. Vaishali Mitra, an educator in the area of business communication and organization communication, with over 17 years of experience in academia. Dr. Mitra holds expertise in teaching and training at reputed educational institutions and industries. Her primary research interests are social entrepreneurship, development communication, business communication, and diaspora literature. She has presented her research papers in various conferences. Her papers are published in national and international journals. Her research in mobile-enabled language learning under the UGC Minor Research Project scheme has helped students in many times and anywhere in learning. She is also a Cambridge certified business English trainer. And we now request Madam to address the gathering. Madam, please.
All right. Am I audible? I want you to confirm that first.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, and also Dr. Kaushik, if you just, because your webinar was from 3 to 4, so if you specify the duration that you want me to speak, I will actually be taking care of that. So when do you want to wind up? I mean, I know students.
10 to 15 minutes maximum.
All right, I will just share my slide and is it visible? Is my slide visible?
Not yet, ma'am.
From my side, I have already shared it, so I don't know.
Yeah, it's visible.
Yes, madam.
Visible, madam.
Yeah, okay. Before I begin, I would like to tell you that it feels like a homecoming for me because I am, you can call me a faculty alumna of ASBM. I hold Dr. Biswajeet Pattanayak in high esteem and Dr. Niranjana. I did teach at ASBM, so it is like, I feel very great when I got this opportunity to associate with you all. But then as I have only 10 to 15 minutes and I wouldn't try to lengthen the discussion for a long time. And it's also a privilege to share the panel with professors like Dr. Supriya Agarwal and Dr. Mili. I will give you a different perspective. What so far you have heard so wonderfully, the other speakers have covered that how you are going to use English language for your career, and there are certain career, several career. The spectrum is really broad. Okay, there are options like blogging or content development, or you can become writers, or for your mass communication, journalism, or copy editing or translation. So if you take up these professions, they are particularly for English, and for each profession, the genre of the language is specific. I wouldn't talk about that. I would talk, let you know that irrespective of your choice of profession, or if you are an employee, or you are you want to work for some reputed company, or you are an entrepreneur, then what is it that you need to understand? What kind of English language is you are supposed to use? And it is getting stuck. I'm really trying to go to my next slide. I have kept my slides very plain and bland. So I have, if you can see my slide, I have written the word effective communication. Okay, so the English language that I am referring to over here is how you use English language for your communicative ability in the professional world. All right. And why am I talking about entrepreneurship? Is English or communicative English, or English that you are supposed to use in your professional world different is managerial communication different from communication for entrepreneurship? Definitely not. The English language will not differ, but the approach and the purpose over here is different. The moment you are talking about entrepreneurship, it's kind of an upside down view. You are the owner manager, right? And it is definitely a great career choice at this juncture.
because your country is talking about Atmanirbhar Bharat, self-reliant India, stand-up India, startup India. So its entrepreneurship is actually a very major, landmark to make your country developed from that developing zone. And even at a personal level, if you want to earn a lot of money, and if you there is a lot of calculated risk also involved over here. And also, if you want autonomy, if you don't want to work for someone else, then entrepreneurship is the best career option. Now, when I talk about this effective English language communication, you can actually interchangeably use it for employability as well as entrepreneurship. Now, what do you understand by this term effective communication? I would like to, it's very frustrating for me to, look at the screen and speak to black boxes. Maybe one person from the students community can unmute and let me know, what do you understand by this phrase effective communication? What is it? What do you understand by this phrase? Do students have the right to unmute?
Yeah, I would like to explain it. So effective communication is the point where the speaker and the person who is receiving it should communicate properly, and the person who is speaking and the person who is listening, they should understand what the purpose of the communication is.
All right. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So now looking at what you have told me, that two people, when they are communicating, and we are talking about English language communication, once they understand each other and the message is conveyed properly, it is effective communication. Now, let me give a very lame example over here. Say I want leave. All right, I'm working at Entrepreneurship Development Institute of India. It is at Ahmedabad. And I am knocking at my boss's cabin because I need 7 days leave. And I went inside his room and I spoke that there is an emergency at home and I would be requiring 7 days ka chutti, 7 days leave. All right. And my boss says he understands because I speak in English. He understands English. My vocabulary and my grammar are properly in place and both of us have understood each other. Now my boss says, nothing doing, Baishali. There is a lot of work, no leave, nothing. I can't sanction it. Get the hell out of my room. Am I effective? Am I effective over here? Quickly, we do not have so much time. Yeah? What do you think? The same person who replied to me, who explained effective communication?
Yes, you are.
How was I effective in my communication?
Because
my boss did not give me the leave.
Yeah, because boss understood what you mean by and what you want to speak to. That's what effective communication is.
All right. So here I think I will be very interested to make a point that does not, and I'm so sorry, with due respect, I will actually negate you. That, let me give a small example over here. Like, we all know how to communicate since our birth. All right, a baby cries and mother understands baby is hungry, mothers give milk. That itself is communication. Communication is something which is natural and innate to us, but we are over here referring to professional communication. And we are talking about professional communication is talking about English language communication. What in the first lecture you already have heard about globalization. You have heard about diversity. That in India, forget about English being an international language. In India itself, we have diversity. Okay, we have not come up with a standard language. There are a lot of hiccups in accepting Hindi as a common language. I'm a Bengali, so I can relate to you. The eastern part of India and also the southern part of India will not accept Hindi as a common language. So because of this diversity, the English that we mention over here is not foreign language anymore. We are talking about Indian English language, the language that is that gives us that commonality, that allows us to speak to each other. Now the fact is, why am I mentioning this effective communication part? that when you use this language for whether for employability or for entrepreneurship, you need to understand that you become successful in using the language only when you are effective. Now, when do you become effective? When behind your communication you have an objective. Only when that objective gets fulfilled, you become effective. All right, over here, the example that I have given is a good communication. My boss understood me, as you mentioned. You are right, you are not wrong actually. My boss understood me. It is a good communication, but every good communication is not effective communication. Effective communication is only when our objective in the professional world gets fulfilled. Okay, suppose you are facing an interview, a job interview. You spoke English, but if you have not cracked that interview, there could be a lot of strategies, and it's not always about the subject knowledge. It's how you communicate your employable qualities. Like even if you do not know a particular answer, Dr. Mealy was referring to certain experiences of hers, that maybe you do not know a particular answer, but if you speak in proper English and communicate that I'm sorry, I can't do justice to this question, but I would be willing to know. I'm a great learner, so I would look forward to know the answer. So maybe that confidence that you carried through your language might make you effective over here. And if I give an example of, like say, for example, we all know how to run. We are born with a communication skill, which is our innate communication, innate ability. Now, if we all know how to run, but someone comes and tells us that now there is a running race and you have to take part in that race, and if you win, there are a lot of prizes. And I want those prizes. I'm really willing to get those prizes. Now what happens, I would actually be doing a lot of, because my normal running ability will not be enough anymore. I have to refine my skill. I have to identify what makes me failure, and then I have to nullify those qualities. So that's why I do a lot of practice. I hit the gym for my muscle build up. I take care of my food habits, etc. So when we talk about English for employability, you need to relate, you need to understand this fact that it is not just about the language. Dr. Supriya Agarwal was mentioning that how English is a sponge language. What is a sponge language? A sponge language is the language which is absorbed many other accent, many other dialect, many other culture. So Indian English with a lot of accent, or when you speak like an Indian, when you go bilingual using a lot of words in your mother tongue, is very fine. Look at that running example that I was giving. When you have to take part in a running race and achieve, you win and get your prizes, the scenario is changed. The scenario is changed because it has a particular objective. It is time bound. It is competitive. You run fast is not enough anymore. You have to run faster than others. All right. The same thing is for your employability scenario. Over here also, you speak good English is not enough anymore. You speak good English to achieve your objective, and it is highly competitive as also. So what it is, you need to be extremely fluent in speaking English. I am talking about your employability. I am talking about your entrepreneurship venture. I am talking about your professional journey. You need to be extremely fluent in speaking English. Do you agree? Yes or no? Quickly, someone.
Yeah, of course.
All right. You say yes. And you need an American and British accent when you speak English. Do you agree? Yes or no? Quickly.
No, no.
No. All right. I agree to that. No, actually. Yes.
You know what?
And yes. You need to
Whether
use
you
house.
speak, can I chip in?
Please, yes.
Whether you speak Urlish or Banglish or English or Tenglish.
Yes.
Okay, nothing to do with English or American English. The most important thing is, are you understanding or not? As long as your level of understandability is not achieved, you are not on the right track.
May I know I'm speaking to whom, sir?
Sorry?
May I know your name, sir?
Yeah. I am Pradeep Mishra from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia.
All right. And you spoke exactly what I want to convey, because my next, in the slide is all these bullet points are a myth. You do not need to be extremely fluent in speaking English if you are talking about how you use English in entrepreneurship or in employability. You can actually go as long as you make yourself understood. I would request you to put your mic on mute, please.
Kindly keep your audio mute. But I request.
Yeah, thanks. Okay, and students, my dear students, you really do not need to, it is a fantastic skill. If the more you listen, the more you speak, the more you read, the more you practice the language, the better you are. But this is never a hindrance for your success in any other kind of entrepreneurship or employable venture, unless you are choosing these professions, like you are developing a content, or you are translating in English, or you are an English faculty member. All right, in any other profession you can go bilingual, as long as very rightly I heard the gentleman who said that as long as others understand you, probably, and understand you, and also you keep that being effective in mind, you are correct. You need an American British accent? Absolutely no. And maybe we can work a little bit on getting our mother tongue influence removed. Like, I'm a Bengali, right? All the labiodental sounds, like ba, ba. Labiodental is lower lip and upper teeth cutting. Okay, we do not have this labiodental sounds. We make it bilabial. So when I say fine, it's as a Bengali, I would be saying pine. So maybe that we can, because how we speak English is very closely related to our image building. Could be a colonial hangover, but we can, work towards that a little bit. Do you need a very high sounding vocabulary for your profession? No, absolutely not. Okay, no Shashi Tharoor's English is required. You have heard about this Shashi Tharoorian word. I would try to recall it. Yeah, it is floxinosinihilification. Okay, it means habit of estimating something as worthless. So I can tell you that I'm very offended by your floxinosinihilification of my amazing vocabulary. Not needed. Because if others have to open their dictionary to understand the English that you speak in your profession, you are going to be a failure. If you are good in English, write a novel or choose any other profession which use English language, but otherwise for your profession, use the simplest, basic, easy vocabulary. You need to be an extrovert, not necessarily. Introvert people are very good in creativity, but when social networking is important for entrepreneurship, also for any other profession, if you want to be an employee, and you need to start at an early age to be an effective speaker. No, you can start now. And the more you listen to a language, if you do not have, it's a practice, right? If I give a lecture on how to drive, you don't become a driver. You sit in a car, hold your steering, and practice and become a driver. So this is something like that. The more you practice, the better you are. As a child, you learned a language within 2 years, 3 years span. Now you will, with your gray mat maturity, you will do it faster. Okay. And the one point that I want to make, I'll just hurry up and kind of sum up all my points. You need to be, the only thing that you keep in mind is to become audience centric. When you are talking about employability, when you are talking about entrepreneurship, what you need to know is who is your audience. Audience is a technical term over here. Even when you are writing, who is your reader? Okay, as long as it is never, English language for employability or entrepreneurship is never about you. It is never about your knowledge or your level. It is always about the person, your customer, your audience, or the person who is interviewing you. What is their level? So like theory of relativity. If I teach theory of relativity in front of a 10th standard students today, I can give a lecture on theory of relativity at an international conference tomorrow. Theory of relativity will not change, but my level, my examples, everything will be changing. So that is where you make things audience centric. When you use English, please, we call it ABC of communication. ABC of communication talks about accuracy, brevity, and clarity. All right. Maybe you can go bilingual. Maybe you do not need to be a very great fluent speaker of English to be successful in your professional venture, but maintain accuracy. Use simple languages. It should be correct. I have given sentence number 1 has this conservation should have been conversation. Okay, so a week long is a spelling mistake. So if you make mistakes in the language you speak, your image gets disturbed over there. Brevity, how in short, like see 3 to 4 webinar is now 3 to 4:30. Okay, it is not easy to listen for a long time. We teachers are very benefited. We impose ourselves on you. We go on and on. But if you are in any other kind of profession, you might not be that privileged. So the more concise you are, the better speaker you are. And clarity, also Dr. Mealy was speaking about clarity, how, you know, your language, if you have written an email and you get 30 calls, people are asking you about clarification, then you do not have clarity. And I wanted you to find out, since I can't explain for a long time over here, please go to Google and you have this open source or any other book. Please find out ethos, pathos, logos, the great Aristotelian tools to persuasion, how you use persuasion in language. Persuasion meaning convincing others, influencing others. Ethos is credibility building. Like Dr. Kaushik is talking about our profiles before inviting us to speak. Why do you need to know that I have a double MA and a PhD and a 17 years of experience? Because he is trying to build that credibility that, okay, when you listen to me, you already come with that trust that if she is telling us something, maybe we can believe it. Okay, so that is ethos. All right, all pathos is emotion. All the advertisements, like Dr. Mealy was showing you certain advertisement clips, it's emotion. Life insurance, zindagi ke saath bhi, zindagi ke baad bhi, they play on emotion. So when you play emotion, you convince or persuade others. Logic, numbers, how numbers, data, statistics, historical pattern can be used in a language where you use your persuasion technique more. Look at sentence number 1. I will end with this. Don't get very jittery. I can go on and on, but I wouldn't do that. So when sentence number 1 says, as a doctor, I am qualified to tell you that this course of treatment will likely generate the best results, it is ethos. As a doctor, I am qualified to tell you. That is the part in credibility. So when you are facing an interview, when the first 30 seconds, when you introduce yourself, strategically place ethos so that your persuasion about your capability actually happens faster. When you are the sentence number 2, if we don't move soon, we are all going to die. Emotion of fear over here. Emotion can be of love, affection, anything. And number 3, a logic, okay, data, statistics. So how you kind of place ethos, pathos, logos strategically is also, you know, can make you say, you can find out about ethos, pathos, logos and plan how to place it in your language for success. This is a story from YouTube. A beggar who is blind, and when he wrote, "I am blind, please help me," no one helped. But when someone came and wrote, "It is a beautiful day and I can't see it," it is like touching people's heart, emotion. So people actually, you know, reacted with that. So maybe I will end my talk with that. We were talking about clarity over here. I already mentioned this, that use simple language. Others would, if others need to open up a dictionary to understand you, your professional success will be at stake, because don't forget that you need to be audience centric. Using jargons, technical terms, please avoid that unless and until you are speaking or communicating with someone who is from your same profession. And use a positive tone, like our office remains closed on Saturday, Sunday. It's not positive. Rather speak on when you are open. All right. Don't say that I do not have any other experience other than teaching English. Rather speak about that I have a great experience of teaching English. So how you use the positivity in your language as well. My last slide, using English language where you are using etiquette, or you know, how you respect others, how your language reflect that. And you don't need to read it, I'm just telling it. These two people, Amit and Himanshu, are two managers of a same company, and periodically they need to meet where their team actually give a update of their review of their to discuss their project. And it happens that Himanshu's team hardly gets time. So Himanshu is very angry. He writes this email to Amit. I wanted to let you know that I don't appreciate how your team monopolizes the discussion. So don't appreciate, monopolize are negative terms. I have a lot of projects and I really need time for my team's discussion. So far, thanks to your department, we haven't been able to do that. So far, thanks to your department is sarcasm, again negative. So even if you want to convey something which others may not like it, please use sandwich feedback, or it is also called burger model. Sandwich feedback or burger model in a language. What is a sandwich? A top bread, the filler, and again a bread. So start with something nice, like I need a favor, your team does excellent job, is the top bread, something nice at the top. Then in between the filler, where clearly, assertively, you need to know what is the problem that you are facing. Then again, sandwich, the bottom bread of the sandwich, end with something nice. Thank you so much. Please let me know if I can do something for you. So the takeaway over here is, please find out about ethos, pathos, and logos, the Aristotelian rhetorics for persuasion skill. Please find out sandwich feedback, and please remember that the English language that you are using for your professional subject is not spontaneous, innate. It is strategic, deliberate, and to be cultivated and to be planned. So you really need to plan your language to become successful. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm having a little bit of mercy on the students, so okay. I'm stopping it over here.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for such an globally and also technical aspect of English communication and entrepreneurship and development. I hope the participants have been enriched and will return the destination with some inputs in them. Any questions from participants, they can directly ask the speaker. Else, I have some 2 to 3 queries with me. There is a person asked one question to ma'am, that what is the role of a teacher for enhancing employability skill in a student? Any?
Okay, what is the role of a teacher?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. I would say since enhancing employability, or we are talking about English language over here. So if we are talking about skill development, then if I keep speaking to you in English language, my skill gets better and better, not yours. So a teacher would only facilitate you and create platforms so that you practice more. I'm only talking about English language for your professional success. And to a major extent, you take input from your teacher and how you practice that. So a skill development classroom should always be full of, we call it engaged pedagogy. So it should be actually reverse, like you work, we only, there is a very fantastic pedagogy for the teachers, you can find out. It is called POGIL, Process Oriented Guided Inquiry Learning. So you just give a case or a situation or maybe a video or a audio, and you place certain questions over there. So students work in a group and they construct their knowledge. So the role of a teacher is to create situations for you to practice more and more.
Yes, ma'am. This also leads to another question in my mind. I have this personal from my side that often in our classrooms, when I teach communicative English or any resume writing, CV writings and all, personally the student asks me, like in the interviews, there is a very simple way to introduce yourself. What are the things to remember at that point of time? What are the things they need to say that introduce yourself? They already know that.
See, when they are even in an interview, I'll take an interview point over here. I have seen personally that students make a mistake of talking, my name is so and so, because you need to understand that you have only 30 seconds. Because if you go more than that, they will think that, give us scope to ask questions. You don't need to go on and on. So you need to practice that you will be speaking only for 30 seconds, 50 seconds, maximum 1 minute, not more than that. So now every word that you mention during that 30 seconds or 1 minute should earn its position over there. So now if they have called me, Vaishali, please, good morning. So then if you again say, my name is Vaishali Mitra, it's a wastage of time over there. Then I have heard students talking that my father does this, my mother does this, then I have a sibling and I have a brother, I have a sister, I have a neighbor and I have a pet dog. They don't need all this information to recruit you. So only talk about, first of all, find out the job, and every interview, the self-introduction should be, or even the resume objective should be customized each time when you find out the job role and the job expectations. Okay, so find out what do they expect you when a recruiter is interviewing you. What do they expect? What do they want you to do in their office? So try to find out that role. What are the employability skills that are required? So give them only those information. Don't even say that, I have completed, like if I go in an interview, I wouldn't say I have completed my MA in English literature, I have completed my MA in linguistics, I am done my PhD. All these are already there in the resume. But I will twist my language and I will say that my MA and my PhD in English have really given, and also my 17 years of experience have given me this confidence that I can facilitate the students in a way that they become successful in their profession. So I am twisting and turning my language and proving what they want. It is again being audience centric. Don't say that my hobby is watching television or my hobby is dancing. They don't need you to go in their office and dance, but definitely say that I have pursued dancing for last 7 years and it has really nurtured my creativity and my discipline. So creativity and nurtured are employability skills that they would be needing. So this is like how intelligently you twist your language to be effective.
Thank you so much, ma'am. There's a last one question we'll take up. This is regarding in terms of owning English as a language of entrepreneurship. Are we not moving away from our native language?
And since it is about entrepreneurship, then I guess I can take that.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And that is why in my slide I was talking about this myth. If we are talking about entrepreneurship, when initially first when I had joined Entrepreneurship Development Institute of India, and I went with all my heavy loaded language expertise, and it's my students, one of the students who is into a family business in Ahmedabad told me, madam, हमें तो धंधा करना है, हमें तो अंग्रेजी नहीं सीखना है. All right. So in that kind of scenario, what I, how I have customized what I have to tell them is, it's not exactly, when you are an entrepreneur, we don't speak about a language. We speak about how to make yourself understood and how to persuade and convince your audience or customer, or if you are the venture capitalist in front of you, you're giving a presentation and pitching, or maybe the government, the bank officials where you are giving a presentation to ask for loan. So now it is again being customer centric and audience centric. Whichever language they speak, you better communicate in that. Now, India has several languages. It is not possible for you to know each and every language or identify which language your customers are speaking or which language the bank official is speaking, what is their native language. So the easy bait is English as a common language, because it is already Dr. Supriya Agarwal was mentioning, right? Globalization, international diversity, and how it is a link. It helps in linking. So even as an entrepreneur, if you see that you have a shop at a remote area of Bhubaneswar where your customers are never international, then probably you will never speak English. That's fine. It's all about being successful in your business. But if you want to grow, if you want to have a chain of that shop in other states of India, and eventually if you want to have a growth internationally, then again, it is your communication language is English language.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you all the panelists, participants for such an engaging question and answer session. So we can sum it up why this webinar, particularly today, is that English communication is mostly needed in aspects of literature or also language for employability. So with a note of this, we can wind it up. We in ASBMU often come up with many such events like these webinars, conferences, certificate programs, also FDPs. For your kind acknowledgement, there is an announcement from our side that we are conducting a 2-week online certificate program on communication and digital media from 16th to 29th September this year. So you can register for that as well. All the links are available in our website www.asbm.ac.in. Thank you. All the participants can also log in there. Before I conclude the session, I'll take this opportunity to thank people associated with this webinar to make it possible. I'm thankful to all the esteemed panelists for accepting our invitation and connecting to us, finding time in their valuable schedule. I'm sure your researchful lecture has surely provided all of us here some food for thought today. And I am sincerely thankful to our beloved founder and president. Without him, nothing would be possible here. ASBM University Professor Dr. Biswajeet Pattanayak sir, for his constant support and innovative ideas for the betterment of academia. I'm also very much thankful to Professor Kalyan Shankar Ray, Vice Chancellor, and Professor Falgu Niranjana, Pro Vice Chancellor of the University, for their timely advice and guidance. I extend my thanks to all the participants for their interest in our webinar. I also thank the registrar, faculty friends, technical team of the webinar, and last but not the least, our dear students of ASBM University, constantly listening to all of us here for their active presence and support. I once again thank you all with a hope to meet with many more such events in future. Thank you everyone for your patience and cooperation. Thanks a bunch. Thank you so much. That's the webinar, Rojo. Thank you.